Now, what is up, people? I don't mind my voice today. Hay fever is a mother, guys. Hay fever is a mother. But guys, reacting to a video titled "Karmelo Anthony charged with first-degree murder." Now, when I initially read the title, I always forget. I sometimes forget that charged means just like the allegations that are being brought against him, like the actual just stuff that he's gonna be trialed for. I always forget that. I'm like, I read a title like last night and I was like, oh my god, he's actually being charged. Like, I mean, he's actually being sentenced, and I was like, oh wait, yeah, there's a. But anyway, look, guys, without further ado, though, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Let's get into it. Let's react to this video on Karmelo Anthony being charged with first-degree murder, because I know a lot of people were like very suspicious about, oh, what's he actually gonna get? Because I know a lot of people were advocating for it to be brought to just second degree or self-defense, or yeah. But guys, like, comment, subscribe, share the video. For more videos like this, come back to the channel.
I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo Anthony, which they did.
What happened here was very clear from the beginning. Anthony went into a tent where he didn't belong. He was told to leave. He responded to that by stabbing Austin Metcalf to death. Update to a story we followed very closely here. Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis announced the results of the grand jury indictment in the Karmelo Anthony case. Karmelo Anthony, of course, is the guy who stabbed Austin Metcalf to death. We followed that story very closely. And here is Greg Willis announcing the grand jury's decision a couple days ago. Listen.
Good afternoon. Earlier this spring, our community was shaken by what happened at a school track meet in Frisco. The violent loss of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. For weeks now, my team has been presenting evidence to the grand jury, and today I summarized that evidence, and I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo Anthony, which they did. With this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue doing our job both fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. As for the scheduling of the trial, that will be up to the court. But when the time comes, we will be ready. Now, we know that this case has struck a deep nerve here in Collin County and beyond, and that's understandable. When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves. We're also mindful of Austin's family and everyone who loved him. Please keep them in your thoughts, and if you're willing, your prayers as well. Finally, let's remember that a defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law.
So, first-degree murder charge, what does that mean? It means this is a slam dunk case. It means the self-defense claim is completely bogus, which any intelligent person already knew that. They're not going to seek, much less would they get a first-degree murder charge unless they have this guy dead to rights, which they do. And there's a lot of evidence here. First of all, there's the fact that the killer confessed to it right away, so that's a pretty big deal. He stabbed someone to death. He stabbed someone in the heart and confessed to the cops. Said, "I did it." So, and they have eyewitnesses. There were people all around, and they have video. And we don't know exactly how much video they have, how many videos there are, how much footage there is. But we know they do have video. The odd thing, though, is that we haven't seen any of the video. There were security cameras at this track meet. There were people all around. All of them obviously had phones. And yet we've seen no footage from this incident, not even footage after the incident. I mean, you're really going to tell me that it's possible that nobody caught the actual stabbing itself on their phone. That's possible. Even that, I would expect somebody did. But are you telling me that nobody in the immediate aftermath pulled out their phone and filmed anything? I mean, it would be the first time in the last like 20 years where there's been some kind of dramatic incident and people were around with phones and no one at any point pulled their phone out. That's hard to believe. We do know, though, that for sure that they have the surveillance footage, that was released about a week ago, sort of released. There was a very small collection of journalists who were permitted to watch.
I know this is a serious video, but like, tell me no one had the urge to do the dance there, guys. I'm sorry. I know it's a serious video, but I just have to say it.
And report on what they saw but they couldn't record it. They couldn't publish the video. They could just watch it and describe it. And the Daily Mail was there. They were one of the select few outlets that were allowed to see this. And I'm going to read a little bit of their write-up. This is from a few days ago. It says, on Monday, the Daily Mail became one of only 2 news organizations granted access to surveillance footage of the deadly incident, a killing that shocked the nation and ignited debates about race, privilege, and criminal justice. The 40-minute surveillance video recorded from a stationary camera on the opposite side of the football field captures the 10 minutes leading up to the attack and the desperate efforts by Metcalf's twin brothers and others to save his life before paramedics arrived. Metcalf, a student at Memorial High School, was stabbed after confronting Anthony, who attended Centennial High School, about sitting under the team of a tent he was not affiliated with. Anthony has admitted to the stabbing, but maintains he acted in self-defense. Initially, Frisco police said an altercation between the teens led to the violent encounter. However, the footage reviewed by the Daily Mail at the Frisco Independent School District's headquarters shows no obvious physical confrontation between the two prior to the stabbing. The Daily Mail did not detect anything that indicated chaos was about to ensue. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, it becomes apparent that the moment has happened when an armed Anthony attacked Metcalf. The stabbing itself is not visible on camera. While other video angles may exist, the surveillance reviewed appears to challenge the self-defense claim, offering little visible evidence that Anthony was in immediate danger before the attack. You may feel like you keep...
Yeah, we're not going to listen to that ad, but yeah, it's what a lot of people already knew. Like, I've seen that, and when it came out and they described it, I was like, yeah. Because it just seems like from hearing the situation, and I know everyone's already gone over this a million times, but just hearing the situation, he's under a tent, he's somewhere he weren't meant to be, has a weapon in a school area. I mean, I don't really know how self-defense could really, like, I'm not really surprised that that is being challenged, and I'm not surprised that it got, well, I'm a tiny bit surprised that it got a first degree charge, because I just assumed with all the noise and all the backlash and everything else, and you know, you've seen all the stuff, all the Shiloh Hendricks stuff, and all the GoFundMes and the GoFundMes for Karmelo Anthony, all that stuff, right? I assume because of all that stuff, it definitely would have gone there. But you know what? I don't want to say I guess well done. I guess well done justice system for now. We'll see how it goes when it goes to trial. But I'll be surprised if he gets off. Obviously, you know, he's presumed innocent, right? But I'll be surprised if he doesn't get sentenced out to, like, you know, for murder. I'll be very surprised. You know, but you guys let me know what you think in the comments below after hearing this. Let's continue in the video, but let me know what you think. Do you think it's fair? Look, I don't know. I don't know what else you could be thinking. I think it's kind of obvious. I think, you know, if you're trying to spin it a different way, then I don't know. But again, that's just my opinion. You know, you guys comment what you think in the comments below, though, because, you know, all opinions are accepted, but, or at least we'll listen to all opinions, but I'm not really too surprised.
For 45% off your first order. So there you go. We still haven't seen the footage ourselves, but you know, the Daily Mail saw it. I don't know why. I don't know why they're doing it this way, and why they'd only invite 2 news outlets to view the footage. And you know, they say there's no indication of self-defense, no indication that Anthony was in any kind of physical danger at all. Because of course he wasn't. Of course he wasn't. What happened here was very clear from the beginning. Anthony went into a tent where he didn't belong. He was told to leave. He responded to that by stabbing Austin Metcalf to death. The idea that he could have legitimately feared for his life at a track meet when he has decided to walk into this tent, like he could, it's a tent, right? You can, you could walk away from it. There are countless angles where you could leave the tent, right? So the claim never made any sense. So he's in fear for his life, but he's come to this tent, he's told to leave, and he fears for his life, but rather than just leave the tent, he stays, and he's the only one who's armed in this encounter, and yet he's the one who fears for his life.
And do you know what makes me laugh? You're seeing these things like these people like, I don't know, like Dr. Umar or whatever will try spin this thing. Like I seen him saying that I bet he was getting bullied, and I bet they were bullying the black kid, and that's why he did that, and trying to create these little scenarios to why he did it. You know, trying to create these little backstories or whatever to why he did it. No, he did it because, I mean, he's just not right in the head. For you to have that reaction, like, even if, I don't know, you want to say you got these street guys or whatever, right? Even to have such a reaction like that, for that situation to happen like that, right? I'm trying to be careful with words, but like that situation to happen like that is just insane to me. It's insane. It's an insane escalation from him being in a tent to then obviously what happened, and I guess we have to say alleged. We have to say alleged now. We don't know what happened, guys. You know, we don't know, but you know, but it's insane to me that it escalated that quickly. You know, there's something wrong there. But for people to try and act like, I don't know, it was self-defense, or again make these stories up, it's just silly to me. It's just very silly. I think if you're not biased and you're not you know, if you're not one of these Dr. Umars, these black supremacists, these idiots that make the community obviously look stupid, right? Which I'm not going to get too much into him, because I know the video's not about him, but it makes the community look stupid a lot of the times. You know, I'm sorry. You got these people like him out here running around saying, again, making these stories up. It's just not a good look. I think if you're non-biased and you can look at it from not as a, forget what color they are, forget black and white, doesn't matter. If you look at the situation unbiased, in my opinion, it's pretty clear what happened, in my opinion.
What's he worried is going to happen? He thinks the opposing track team is going to gang up and like kill him. Is that what he thinks? No, of course not. So why did he stab him? Well, for the same reason that people are killed every day in the inner city in particular, which is for no reason, just pure nihilistic violence for the sake of it. That's why. And the fact is that black teens like Karmelo Anthony commit violence like that all the time. Right? Like that's it. And here's the truth, and we all know this, that if you're in a situation, like, again, this is one of those things, it's so many cases where we're all supposed to pretend we don't know things that we actually know, or we're supposed to act confused about things. Well, what do you mean? He just stabbed him? This young man was told to leave a tent, and are you claiming that he would just respond violently to that? What? Well, yeah, exactly. Like, that's exactly what happened. And we all know that. I mean, if you go up to a young black male who's being disruptive in some way, or he's somewhere he's not supposed to be, and you tell him to please quiet down or to leave, there's a chance that he responds with violence. Like, not in self-defense, not because he thinks his life is in danger, but just to prove how tough he is, just to inflict violence for the sake of it. Right? We all know that. Which is why in so many cases, in similar sorts of situations, you know, the white people around in many cases are not going to say anything because they're worried about this exact kind of response. And they're not worried because they're racist. They're worried because they're capable of basic pattern recognition. They know they have some basic idea of the data, the statistics. Like, statistically, young black males are more violent than any other demographic group. Everyone just knows that. If you have a group of black teens in a movie theater who are being loud and disruptive, like, very often, if you've got white people around, they are going to be very hesitant to say anything, to say, hey, could you guys quiet down? Because they're worried about exactly this kind of response.
What, really? No, I think Matt's being racist, guys. I think Matt's being racist. You know, I'm offended by what he just said, okay? Don't you dare say that about any black teens. They're not like that, okay? They're not like that. I'm offended, guys. I'm going to call Matt racist, and you guys shouldn't listen to a single thing he says now, guys.
And is that fear baseless? No, of course it's not. So that's what happened here, which makes it first-degree murder, and that's the charge. And yet this guy is currently out on bail. Okay, this is pretty rare. You have someone on a first-degree murder charge who's facing life in prison and is out on bail right now.
He's still out on bail.
And why would that be rare? Well, because the flight risk now is monumental. This he's facing the very real likelihood, what should be basically a certainty, that he's going to prison for the rest of his life. Now he's got nothing to lose. And on top of that, this family has just been gifted $500,000 So the flight risk is very, very high right now, and yet he's currently out on bail. So the whole thing just makes no sense at all. If you'd like to see what...
Yeah, that is actually, yeah, the fact that he's still on bail, I mean, wow. Come on, for first degree, I feel like, again, if this was any other situation, we know what would be happening. He'd be behind bars awaiting trial, because that's insane. But the whole thing about, Matt was saying about the patterns and stuff like that and what's happening here. Again, if you're watching this and you're black and you think that's racist, because I've had that before, people, again, I have different opinions sometimes come to my channel, right? I think it's not racist. If there's a pattern, there's a pattern. Typically with a lot of black people, when they're told to be quiet, especially when it's by a white person, it's just an aggression there. There's like, oh, why are you telling me to be quiet? Why can't I be? So there's just an aggression there. But again, forgetting that, back to Karmelo Anthony, yeah, the flight risk, that is actually insane. Like, what if he actually just decides to leave the country? Like, I don't think he would. I don't think it will happen, right? Because I feel like, I don't know though. I don't know many cases. I know people probably have their different ways of getting out of countries and stuff like that. I don't know, but that's insane. People should be watching him. He should really be in prison. He should really be in prison, to be honest, because that's insane. Let me know what you think in the comments below about him being charged with first-degree murder, right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And yeah, for more videos like this, come back to the channel.